Hello there, it's Camilla Slater from camillaslater.com and from this YouTube channel. So subscribe to the channel because you're going to get lots of really great information and intelligent information if you're a woman in the second half of your life who is actually managing and dealing with an adversity or a trauma story or trauma history. This is really, really, really loving here, really compassionate and really intelligent. And today's topic that I want to talk to you about, I think will really resonate with you. If you're anything like me, you know the pains of overdisclosure. And this was a feature of my early life before I was really, really into the healing journey and able to kind of live in different ways that were healthier for me and healthier for the people around me. How is it for you with overdisclosure? Are you still struggling with it? Overdisclosure is that kind of compulsion or obsession to tell everybody everything about everything. And while I do this work here, I'm still careful about what I share these days. And I'm inviting you to consider if overdisclosure has been a feature of your trauma symptoms or trauma makeup. It's often not associated with PTSD symptoms and complex post-traumatic stress symptoms. But let me tell you, while it's often associated with boundaries, what we need to understand and what I'm inviting you to understand is the relationship between boundaries, trauma, and overdisclosure, and the three of them go hand in hand. Separating one out from the other isn't really going to help you, and it's going to mean that you're just going to, in a singular way, deal with one issue at a time. While we want to break things down and keep them simple for you, we also want to acknowledge that these things are linked in with each other. I call it systemics. It's about systemics and systems theory, things being linked to each other. And so what you need to do is treat them in a way and learn about them in a way that shows the interconnections between all the different aspects and parts of these things. So is overdisclosure a feature of your life, or has it been in the past? Are you going down the street and making friends with someone in a cafe and telling them all about your life story and all about your life history and all about your abuse history? Are you walking into a pub and you meet people for the first time, and within 5 minutes, you're rabbiting off information about your life that's really better left for a different type of friendship in a different context, in a different environment, and in a different place, and at a different time? This stuff is really, really, really tough for you if you're a woman with a trauma history. And people can read you in all these kinds of ways, not understanding why you are doing what you're doing and why you are over-disclosing in the way that you are. And what I want to say to you is, I do understand and I do know, and I have been there, and I used to do it, and I don't do it anymore. You know, as a coach to women who helps women with these issues, and as a lived experience kind of mentor who's able to really guide women through the processes that you need to undertake to heal this stuff, what I can say to you is that this tendency to over-disclose is really born out of a really deep desire to connect properly with other human beings. You know, trauma and adversity symptoms and trauma and adversity histories really undermine your capacity to connect with yourself and with other people. And it's really painful. That means that it gets really lonely. Can you relate? And loneliness, again, and isolation, you can either flip between isolation to this over-disclosure, to this wanting and desperately needing to attach to other people. You know, over-disclosure is also really connected in with your desperate wish to be heard. You really want someone to understand your story, your experiences, and ultimately, you want someone to understand your pain, your heartfelt pain, what you've been through, what it's meant to you, what it's done to you, and how it's absolutely ripped you to shreds inside. I get it, I know. But the over-disclosing that you may be still doing isn't going to get you the desired outcome of connection that you want. You know, the really, really sad part about it is that often it gets you completely the reverse of what you want. You know, sometimes people who don't have an adversity or trauma history, to the extent that you do, may not understand why you're doing what you're doing. All they see is someone who's just purged a whole lot of information at them at the wrong time, in the wrong place. And they get frightened. And they think you're a little bit nutty, maybe. And they might even just run a mile. Sometimes people just get up and go. Clients talk to me about this stuff, and it's really painful for you, because ultimately what you're doing through over-disclosing, desperately, in a wish to desperately want attachment and to want real empathic connection with another human being who's going to hear your story and understand. But what you're ultimately doing is you are creating a self-fulfilling prophecy that keeps alive the reality of your isolation and your pain. And this is where I really want to offer you some solutions. You know, I started this kind of conversations thing that runs every week, and it doesn't cost anything. And it's a place for women like you and like me to go. It's a place where you can actually talk about stuff. And that mere act of being in the right place at the right time with the right people, with the right women, means that you have a safe space where you can come to really talk and ask questions as a first port of call in your healing journey from over-disclosure. You can come along to these conversations online every week, and you can come somewhere safe, and you can talk, and you can communicate, and you can ask questions, and you can learn, and then we can see where you maybe need to go from there. But it gives you this fantastic place to come and to maybe be heard appropriately, so that you don't go out into the world and spill the beans everywhere in a way that's going to frighten other people off. I hear this so much from my clients, and I don't want to hear it. I wish I could take it away from you and give you the relief that you need right here, right now. And while I can't do that because we're talking through screens and we're communicating virtually here in this forum and on this social channel, what I can say is that if you do come to the conversations and you do come to the online safe space, you might find some kind of relief that's going to help you and give you some direction. I'm very into the synergistic interreacting that we can do, that is a part of what you need in terms of empathic connection in order to heal. Women with trauma, we don't heal on our own. We need other human beings. We need to test and practice. We need to be in safe environments. We need to be in contexts where we're going to be not judged, understood, accepted, and listened to, perhaps for the very first time, in the realest way that you've ever been listened to before. So the online conversations, you can find the information down in the description box of this video on the channel here, and you can just register. You'll get the registration down there, or you can go to camillaslater.com. But if you're not ready to do that, subscribe to the channel here and you'll keep on getting these tidbits. Spread the word if you know other women who can benefit from this information and benefit from an intelligent woman who's going to give you the information that you need, that is born out of my own journey and my own lived experience. And I'm an elite coach who works with women all around the place, all over the world. You can then start to, at least, and so can your girlfriends who need it as well, make some traction, gather some kind of information, and actually maybe come to the conversations and find a safe space where you can take it a bit further. But subscribe to the channel, get into it, enjoy it, This is done as a service to women. I really firmly believe in your capacity to heal. I know what it's like. I've been there. I've done that. And I know the pain of overdisclosure. There is a way forward that is going to enable you to create a new path that's suitable specifically to you. And that's what I help women do all the time. That's my job. That's what I do. That's what I love to do. I'm so grateful. It's such a wonderful opportunity and it's so humbling. So on that note, subscribe to the channel and go to camillaslater.com. Check the descriptor down below for that link to the online group. And I will see you really soon. Enjoy your day. Lots of love. Bye for now.